But you know how like I make a crap ton of makeup videos and I don't really do anything in them but makeup? Well, you can watch other makeup videos for that, I have a feeling, because like I'm not that good at makeup. Like I'm not bad, but like compared to like James Charles, like people don't even skip a beat at me, and there's many other like underrated smaller artists that are way better than me. I wanted to talk about bad movies and do my makeup. I'm inspired by Kennedy J. who does this, but I know a crap ton of other YouTubers talk about bad movies and like do their makeup or do something or just get ready with me and talk. And like, yeah, I've done stuff like that before, but I wanted to do it too because I watched a lot of Netflix movies and they scarred me. And also I didn't see that many people talk about this one. I'm sure people did. I'm sure it was covered, but like I usually watch on YouTube by what's recommended, and they never really recommended me these videos, but they did recommend like Sierra Burgess Is a Loser, To All the Boys I've Loved Before, like stuff like that. So we're gonna be talking about The Kissing Booth. I don't know if y'all have seen it, but it's a pretty bad, and I would just say overall sexist movie. Takes us back and makes women look terrible. We're not even women, but it just like makes us look like we're nothing, like once again. Not even like a huge, I'm a feminist, but I'm not even just like, yeah, go hard. But like this movie did trigger me. And if people who did see this movie have to agree with the things I'm saying, like, except though a lot of people on Instagram were saying that they liked it, and it was just like, whatever. The Kissing Booth. So the three main characters are Noah. I think they call him Finn though. Flynn. And then, sorry guys, I haven't seen this in a minute, but I was not gonna rewatch it. And then Lee. So it's Lee Finn and Noah Finn, they're brothers. And then there's Elle, who's been Noah's best friend since like birth. Because of that, they created a best friends list of rules that they have for each other because they're best friends. I don't think they ever said why they did. And like in the beginning they like go through Elle's entire basically like life like up to this date, and it was just like really fast and really weird. She was like, and then my mom died. Had a hard talk with dad. Then I went to high school. I was just like, oh. Yeah, so it starts out with that, and then it basically immediately goes into like the fact that her and Lee are best friends, that they have all these rules for each other and they do everything together. I don't even remember how many, but I'm pretty sure it's a 30-point list of just like rules they have for each other. I can't imagine like making a friend and then I'm just like, you know what, let's make rules for each other, because like we can only have each other and like we're best friends, so this is what best friends do. So anyways, this kind of shows that early on in the movie her best friend Lee kind of already has this thing over her. In the movie, Elle never really uses the rules against Lee, but he uses them against her like a bunch of times. But to be fair, she was kind of a terrible person, so I guess it kind of works out. But anyways, it opens with them like at a pool then, like in the real time where they actually are, and they're at the pool, and then of course like within like minutes Noah comes to the pool and he's like ripped and hot and like sweaty, and I actually don't find him that hot. He's just like not my type. Just like super chiseled white boys. I don't know. Yeah, he comes in and she's like, Noah was stupid hot. And you're like, okay. And she talks about having a crush on him, but she's like, but I can't because of the rules. So it's already like Lee has this creepy, weird claim on her, but she already knows that she like subconsciously likes Noah. And it's just like immediately you're like, this is gonna end bad. By the way guys, do you like my nails? I did them myself. And that's my natural nail length, so. Basically, they already have this weird, creepy claim on her through different things. I mean, I guess you don't really see it with Noah. I remember. He says, like, nice boobs or something. He's like, you got boobs over the summer. Which, like, kind of weird, but it's not the worst thing. And, like, literally up until the kissing booth, nothing really important happens. Except this one guy slaps her ass because she couldn't find a skirt and dress code. So he slaps her butt. And then he wears a skirt later to class because he slapped her butt and felt bad and he was apologizing. And then she went on a date with him and then he stood her up. When I'm at school and a guy grabs or slaps my butt, I can guarantee you that bitch is not getting anything from me except maybe a slap to the f***ing face. I've been grabbed like a lot in my life, and like it's not something where you're like, oh, this kind of sucks, but like, you know, if he does something minor, like I'll like him, or like it'll be fine. Like, no, like it's a terrifying thing to just like be out in public and someone grabs you and you know that there's nothing you can do. So I hate when movies like take things like that and they make it seem like it's nothing, because like to that's really degrading to women. I'm not someone who tries to get super serious about jokes. I get jokes, but it's just like, it's like this whole movie Elle just doesn't know her worth, and like and Lee and Noah are just like super possessive over her, and it's like it was made in the freaking 50s with like all these stupid gender stereotypes. It's up to like Elle and Lee to pick out a fundraiser for the school or whatever, and then they are like, oh, we'll do a kissing booth. Who would have known? And then they tell the board and they're kind of like, but they're like, oh wait, but Noah will be in it. And then they're like, okay. So then they set up the kissing booth, whatever, people are going to it. They got the hot chicks, the OMG girls, they call them. They got the OMG girls to be in it. Like, people are coming, it's really cool, it's poppin', whatever, it's at a fair. But then of course they don't actually have Noah. They have Lego out there and they say that he's Noah, and everybody's like, that's definitely not Noah. And then he meets his girl there because she kisses him or whatever, and he gets to have happiness for the rest of the movie. But of course Elle's still struggling. The mean girls are like, oh, we only did this because we thought Noah was gonna be here and Noah isn't here. So they're like, let's prank Elle and push her out there and make her kiss an ugly guy. And then of course the ugly guy lets Noah cut because Noah magically appears, and then Noah kisses Elle, and of course it's like this super magical thing. And it stars. And then as soon as they're done, she's like, oh my gosh. And then she's like, wait, he's still a douchebag. And then, I don't know exactly the turn of events, but I know that she tells Lee pretty immediately actually, which good for her for that, I guess. That's one plus to this movie. Except not really, because there's not really any reason for her to go to her best friend and tell her who she's kissing and who she isn't. But she tells him pretty immediately. She's like, I kissed him because of the kissing booth, and he reacted like not that bad. He was just kind of like, oh, as long as you're not like having sex with him, I don't really care. I didn't really care that much, which was kind of weird because those rules seemed super intense, but I guess he was like, oh, because it's a kissing booth. Guys, I wrote it like an outline for this movie, and I'm not even following it because I remember how bad this movie is. I don't know the exact turns of events, but I'm pretty sure since Lee is hanging out with that new chick that he just kissed and like realized he liked or whatever, Ella's like, well, I feel really lonely and I realize that I like his brothers. I'm gonna go after his brothers. So a little turn of events happen. He tries to take her home. He tries to order her around to get her on his motorcycle, and she's like, no. And he's like, get on it. And she's like, no. He's like, get on it. And then of course she does, because she has to listen to what every man in this movie says. And they drive to this weird, kind of sketchy looking place, and then they make out some more. So yeah, her and Noah are just kissing under this little, not little, just this like, is it called a gazebo, I guess? Sorry, I'm not doing the best description of this. It's similar to what goes down. The janitor or whatever comes up with a flashlight and he's like, Noah, is that you? He's like, you brought another girl here? And she's like, another girl, so I'm just one of your makeout girls? And he's like, no, you're not, I actually like you. And she's like, no, I'm not. And then she runs away. But she's upset because she thinks she's just like every other girl, which I guess like she kind of ends up being like every other girl. Kind of actually does ask for it, which I hate to say that, but like when the skirt incident happens, he was literally like, wearing a skirt like that, you're asking for it. Noah, when women dress a certain way, we're not asking for sexual assault. We're just being normal people, wearing clothes that we feel comfortable in. And then he was like, sorry, I wasn't trying to be a dick. It's like, well, so yeah, I think she has a heart-to-heart with her dad. I don't really know. I'm sorry if the timeline is like a little off, there might be, but like the major things I'm gonna get right. After this, it like cuts like her and like Lee are having a painting fight, which pertains to the story in no way, but they are. And I mean, I guess it's like to show their friendship or whatever. But then when she needs to change or whatever, she takes off her shirt and accidentally walks into the men's locker room, I think. But then she just winds up like giving them a show anyways and showing off her bra, and they're all going like, woo. And it's because Noah was trying to control her and tell her not to do that, to get out. And she was like, you don't tell me what to do. And so then she showed the whole like locker room, like her walking around in her bra. So yeah, I guess she really won that one by showing the whole locker room her bra, which I guess good for her, because if that made her feel more confident, if that made her feel like she wasn't owned by her freaking best friend's brother, then you know, go off, sis. But like, it was just really weird and also kind of unnecessary and didn't pertain to the plot at all. I mean, I guess it just shows how possessive Noah is and how like she doesn't like it, but she does. And then there's like a beach house, a beach or just a beach party where she's there and then a bunch of her friends there and she's drinking and in a bra and having fun. I also forgot that there's like a regular party where she ends up wearing like Noah's shirt and wakes up in his bed. Oh my gosh, I totally forgot about that. But like it also like made no sense. It was like, don't come to the party, and she's like, I'm gonna come to the party because I want to. Like literally was that whole party just to show that Noah was possessive. And of course at the party Noah is making out with a girl. I'm sorry I forgot that party. I'm sorry that was a weird interjection, but I forgot that that happened and that was weird. There's another basically party where they're on the beach after this whole debacle happened and semi-nude again, which like I really don't care what she wears, but I feel like the writers just did that to like show that she's like, oh, a slutty, frisky teen, and she deserves all the sexual assault that she gets or whatever. And a guy hits on her, and she's like, let's go do this or whatever. And she's like, haha, no thanks. And he's like, no, let's do it. And then she's like, haha, no thanks. And then he's like, come with me, you slut, or whatever. I don't know what he actually said. And then she's like, no. And then, of course, Noah tries to get in, like, the second fight of the freaking film. Granted, he definitely was, like, in the right to step up for her there because, like, when dudes are, like, grabbing you and pulling you and you're, like, not into it, like, obviously that's, like, a really scary thing. But it's weird, though, because he was, like, doing it in front of, like, all of their friends at the party. And she's like, no, Noah, you don't own me. And stop acting like you own me or whatever. And, like, he gets pissed, she gets pissed, she runs off. Really weird, their relationship. I, like, just don't understand because, like, she, like, thinks he's hot, she has a crush on him, but, like, he gets possessive over her and then she just, like, hates it. Obviously likes it because she likes him, and that's pretty much, like, 90% of his personality is just being super controlling. She storms off, and of course, Noah follows her. And then they have sex. I'm not kidding. So, like, obviously they don't just immediately start doing it, but they, like, meet up in this, like, weird place or whatever and talk about their feelings or something like that. And then they, of course, are like, oh, wait, we feel the same way for each other. And then Elle just, like, talked all the smack about him being controlling and her not liking it, and like they had this all back and forth, but she realized she liked him and then she went for him anyways. There's more scenes where she's angry at him than scenes where she's like, you know what, I just really like Noah. And then I don't know if much happens, but I know quickly after that there's just a montage of them having fun but also having a bunch of sex. And one of the times the mom shows up and she's like, hey, be easy on Elle because she has a crush on you because we have family brunch or whatever where their families meet up, because of course their families are close too, and I guess that's why they're close or something. Like she was friends, his mom, Noah's mom was friends with Elle's mom before she died or whatever, which I guess makes sense. It just, I don't think that, not that, but I don't think her walking in on them doing it, she walked in on them doing it, but she quickly ran under the bed so she didn't see her. The mom recognizes the crush, but they're still hiding it from everybody. So like yeah, when they go out in public, she like puts like a bucket over her head or whatever, and then like when they're having sex, they're being super secretive. So of course, like, Lee is with his new girlfriend, so like he's not really paying attention to Elle. Of course, as soon as things start to go like really good in a movie like this, they go to shit, but like also they weren't going really good because her whole relationship was a secret from like literally everyone. So like, I mean, I guess for all she knows, Noah could have still been hooking up with chicks and it wouldn't have made a difference. There's the family dinner and it's kind of like interesting, and they're like asking Noah about girls, and she's just like, of course, like, what, he's not gonna be like, yeah, I'm into Elle. But anyways, of course Elle is at the house, they're doing whatever. Lee comes home, we need to hang more or whatever, we haven't been hanging, and she's like, oh yeah. Okay, I forget what happens, but somehow she hits her head, but then Lee accuses him of like hurting her. He's like, did you touch her? And she's like, no. And he's like, did you touch her? And they started to get heated, and it was really weird because like he clearly didn't like lay a hand on her, but it was also kind of weird for him to just like accuse his own brother of that, you know what I'm saying? This is when Lee finally finds out that they're actually like have been together. But I don't remember exactly how it happens. I know that she hits her head, he accuses her, he leaves, and he's like, oh, okay, he didn't hit her. But then she kisses him after he leaves, and then he comes back, and he's like, what? And she's like, no, I can't explain. It's like, no, you can't, you stupid bitch. Like, obviously he was gonna find out. Like, you thought this would just, oh, and then Noah gets in a fight and becomes extremely possessive? Who would have thought? And he fights his own brother, and it's like, Lee says this, he's like, you've had everything in life. One thing I had was Elle, and now you're taking her from me. I'm like, bro, she's like a person. She doesn't belong to like anyone. Also weird because Lee kind of ditched Elle when he found the other girl. I don't know. They're all in the wrong in some way. Yeah, everyone in the movie is pretty toxic, so no one's like truly in the right like 100% of the time. But yeah, they get in a fight, and of course Elle cries. They all leave. It's really bad. Noah gets kind of pissed at her, but it's not really like justified. She got my lash on her whisker, and then they didn't talk for a minute. And I think Elle had another one of those like moments with her dad after this. Or it might have been actually with Noah's mom. But to be honest, like, it really doesn't matter. This movie is one of those movies where, like, you can guess, like, basically the entire plot. So I think they just kind of go through a limbo where, like, they're not friends with anyone. Like, she mainly focuses on repairing her relationship with Lee, which is interesting. But I am glad that they did that because, like, if she was only focusing on Noah, I would be so pissed. Yeah, like, Noah ruined everything for her, like, literally all the time. In the movie, repair her relationship with Lee at the Just Dance place or whatever. That's kind of their thing. They meet up at like Just Dance, and not Just Dance, it's not Just Dance, but it's like a Dance Dance Revolution, and kind of apologize. Like, he invites her to dance with him, and then they say they're going to prom together. So then they have prom, and she's going with Lee and his girlfriend, and she just gets to go alone. And then they recreate the kissing booth there. She's like, oh my gosh, it meant something to people. It was a really cool thing, whatever. And I was like, yeah, kind of cool, and showing like photos. And of course she sees photos of Noah. And then of course Noah actually shows up, and he's like, oh, I'm proclaiming here right now that I love you. And she's like, I can't do this. And then she runs away from prom. And then Lee is like, way to ruin things. I'm like, bro, you both ruined things for her, and none of you owned up to what you did. I don't think any of them ever like just say, I was wrong here, here, and here, and I'm sorry. So anyways, yeah, that happened. They have a joint birthday party because they share the same birthday, her and Lee. And Elle and Lee are there, and then she's like crying because she's like, you have someone and I don't, and like I can't just pretend like I don't love him, and you can't just not support that. And he's like, she's like, if you love someone, I don't have the right to tell you not to love them. That was a one point in the movie. Where I was like, oh wow, someone actually learned something. Yeah, so that happened, and then he was like, you know what, you're right, because of course it's the end of the movie and things have to come together. She is like, okay, I'm gonna drive away to meet Noah, like I miss him, oh, I'm gonna see him, I'm so excited, thank you Lee for setting this up. And Lee's like in the car with her, but of course he's in a Batman costume, and it's Noah under disguise, which, like, I don't know, I guess they did that to be cute. Of course when she finds out it's Noah, she's like so happy, they kiss, whatever, they make up, and then he ends up going to like an Ivy League school and leaving her. I didn't make that up. Like, the ending is her at the airport and she says goodbye to him, and then she leaves on a motorcycle. The entire movie, nothing happens, and let me explain that in just a second. So it's like the B movie. They go through a whole journey, and in the end everything is like it was in the beginning. On the B movie, they have a problem with honey, so he gets rid of, or like he finds out that people are making honey, he gets rid of the honey, and then he realizes they have problems, so he's like, oh, you guys actually can use our honey, and nothing changes. This is one of those movies. There's not really any personal growth. Nobody just comes forward and just says, I'm wrong for this and this and this, and I'm sorry to everybody. That never happened. Elle and Noah don't even end up together. So this whole movie, you're taken across this stupid, sexist ride for no reason. And she's just friends with Lee again. So this movie is literally pointless. But if you do enjoy sexism, sexual assault, really cringy movies, terrible characters, just something that just doesn't make you feel good, then this movie is the movie for you. I personally didn't enjoy the movie at all. I know some people liked it because it was just like a cheesy high school movie, but for me it just goes deeper than that. I don't know, and I know I'm being a social justice warrior about it. I don't know, just, it was just too much. It's one thing if it's a little bit and it's kind of stereotypical, stereotypes, whatever. This one was just like flooded with them. Anyways, sorry this was a little over the place. It was kind of a movie review, kind of explaining what the movie was. I hated it. I didn't like it. It wasn't a good movie. I'm sorry. I do love Joey King, but it's not a good movie. I'm sorry. Anyways, hope you guys enjoyed me just getting ready and talking about a terrible movie. I'm Chicken Wing, this is Light Bulb, and have a good breakfast. Here's a finished look, man.